Can the Miami Heat make it back to the finals this year and actually win the championship? According to Jimmy Butler, he thinks they can. Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir. Before I get into the video, I just want to thank everybody for their continued support of my channel. I'm on my path to 1,000 subscribers and I'm getting relatively close. So if you could subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot. So thank you again for the support. So after last night's loss to the Denver Nuggets, the Miami Heat lost 97 to 103 on the road. And Jimmy Butler was interviewed post-game, and they were talking about the impact of this loss. The Miami Heat went from the 5th seed last night to the 8th seed. And so as they were interviewing Jimmy Butler, they're asking, how does he feel about the remainder of the season? How does he feel about the team? And so let's take a look at this clip together real quick.
You know, it's almost close to the most important time of the year, so we'll be okay.
What's it like just the way this East is right now? I know there's plenty of games left. You started the night in, what was it, 5th? Now you're in 8th. I mean, it's just that back and forth. How do you look at that? What do you take out of that?
We're okay. 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't care. We don't care.
And just to see,
you know,
So this kind of sounds like what Jimmy was saying, I think, a season or 2 seasons ago when the Heat lost in Game 7 at home against the Boston Celtics after Jimmy missed that three-pointer. And they asked him, how do you feel? And he said, we'll be back here next year and we're going to beat them, which they did. They played against the Boston Celtics in a rematch last season in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Miami Heat took a 3-0 lead, and Boston came roaring back and took it to a Game 7, and thankfully the Miami Heat were not the first team in NBA history to blow a 3-0 lead. And so Jimmy still has that same confidence in this team, even though it is a different team. Still have the main components and core in place, obviously, but we do have different pieces. We lost Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, obviously, and now we have Jaime Jaquez, Jovic, who's in the rotation, and then Terry Rozier, Daylon Wright, etc. So it is a different team, but Jimmy still has the same confidence that he thinks that this Miami Heat team, no matter what their seed is, can compete and will compete in the East. And I love that confidence. But there is one issue, and I think we still have 21 or 22 games left. The Miami Heat have been playing their best basketball of the year, and we're only a game and a half from the Knicks for the 4th seed. So one game is impactful at this point, but there's plenty of games left for the Heat to move up. And us Heat fans have been talking forever that we do not want to be in the play-in. We need to avoid the play-in. We don't need those extra miles on Jimmy Butler. We don't want to be a team that plays on the road every round. So we did that last season. Luckily, the Miami Heat in every road series were able to steal 1 out of the 2 games to steal home court. But we simply didn't have enough. We ran out of gas. We always deal with injuries, just like we are right now. So as long as the Miami Heat are healthy, I have faith in this team. I go back and forth with this team. I'm obviously a Heat fan, and I'm biased, but I'm also realistic. And after watching us play against the Nuggets last night, I just don't know if we could beat that team 4 out of 7 times. I feel like we could beat the Celtics, but that's going to be a very big hurdle even to get past the Celtics, because they retooled and they added Porzingis, and as long as he's healthy, he's going to make an impact. And they added Drew Holiday, who's one of the best two-way players in the NBA, and they're a good team. They don't have a lot of depth, so they're not unbeatable, but it sometimes feels like the Denver Nuggets are unbeatable, and whoever else may come out of the West may be tough for the Miami Heat as well. But Jimmy Butler has confidence, which I absolutely love. Jimmy's amazing, and he deserves a championship. And I know he has probably 2 more seasons after this, max, at his prime. And this season and next season are his best opportunities. And we need to improve, and we need to stay healthy, and we need to move up and make it as easy as possible and get home court in the first round. If we could become a 4 seed, that would be huge. Miami Heat, we have a better road record, believe it or not, at 18-13, which is like the 7th best in the NBA, and we're like 15-13 at home, which is not great. But in the playoffs, it matters. Role players play better at home, period. So Duncan, Jaime Jaquez, and Nikola Jovic, and players like that, Haywood Highsmith, Caleb, are going to play so much better at home. Jimmy, Bam, there are stars. They can play good on the road and at home. That doesn't matter. But anyway, I don't love it when Jimmy says, I don't care, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is pretty funny. I don't enjoy that he's okay with being like an 8th seed or 7th seed. And I'll tell you why, because the numbers don't lie. I've said these in other episodes before, that you need to be an elite team in the regular season in order to win a championship. And the data and the numbers don't lie. So in the last 73 years, I've mentioned this stat before, in the last 73 NBA seasons, 51 out of 73 were the number 1 seed. Number 1 seeds win NBA championships at a higher clip than any other seed. And that's because these teams are the most dominant teams in the regular season, which translates to the postseason. And there's been only one other time in NBA history where a 6th seed has ever won a championship, and that was the 94 or 95 Rockets. And they had Hakeem Olajuwon, who's one of the greatest underrated centers of all time. And the reason why they won was because Jordan decided to retire and play baseball for those 2 years. And so the Bulls were on a three-peat. He retired for 2 years. The Houston Rockets won back-to-back championships. And then when Jordan came back, we all know what happened there, another three-peat. So 70% of all number 1 seeds have won in the last 72 years, which is insane. 2 seeds have won at like a 20% rate. 3 seeds at like an 8 to 10% rate. Like if you're a 4th seed or above, it's very unlikely for you to win a championship. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if we look at the numbers, it just simply doesn't happen if you're not a top 3 seed. So the regular season does matter. Your seed, to a certain degree, does matter. Just like when you're up 3-0, that has never happened. It will happen. Someone is definitely going to win as a team that is down 3-0 in the playoffs in the NBA. It's going to happen eventually. Just like in college, I don't really watch college basketball, but with March Madness, the NCAA tournament, for how many years was the number 1 seed always beating the 16 seed? Like a 16 seed has never done it before until, I don't even remember who did it, but someone did it 5-6 years ago. And I think it's happened twice now. Like once something's happened, then it can happen again. So not saying that a 7th seed or an 8th seed can't win an NBA championship, but it's super unlikely. And I think Miami is one of only 2 teams that ever made it to the finals. Us and the Knicks in the 99 lockout NBA year. The Knicks made it to the finals as the 8th seed, short season, only 50-something games. They played against the Spurs and lost to Tim Duncan and David Robinson and those folks. So I love Jimmy's confidence, and he's been playing a lot better in the last 20 games or so, maybe last 15 games or so. And we need him to be assertive and aggressive and to lead this team. And we control our own destiny. We have like the 2nd or 3rd easiest schedule, remainder of schedule in the NBA right now. And we're playing against the Jazz next on Saturday. Then we're playing against like the Pistons and then the Wizards and a bunch of teams that are mediocre and mid-level. And so this is our opportunity to move up in the standings, take advantage while the Knicks are injured. I don't know when Randall's coming back. OG Anunoby had his surgery on his elbow or wrist, and he's been out for quite some time. So we need to take advantage because they have been losing. Sixers, I don't know if Embiid's going to come back with his meniscus injury, but they have been free falling, so the Heat need to take advantage. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get a big win last night, but they played well enough to beat the Denver Nuggets, which is a good sign. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Jimmy? It doesn't matter for the 8th seed, 7th seed, 6th seed. It just doesn't matter simply, or do you agree with me and think that the Heat need to get into that 4 or 3 seed in order to win a championship this year? So let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, guys.